Hey guys, Walter here with the Black Dow, and I want to share with you guys a story here in regards to Gensler. One of the questions that was raised a few days ago in regards to how he is interacting with crypto and his views on the markets and how he feels about cryptocurrency as securities and things of that nature. So a lot of people are extremely frustrated because of how his views have evolved over time. And I want to share with you guys a little thing that I found here by a guy, Decentralized Dan. His handle is here for Elon. So a great question here. And he said, I asked SEC Chair Gary Gensler to clarify his statements on cryptocurrency regulation at CodeCon. So here it is, that question right here, and I want to just share that with you guys. So go ahead and take a listen.
Hi, Gary. Appreciate the regulation of crypto that you're pursuing. One question for you is, you've said that there can't be 5,000 to 6,000 private forms of money, referring to the approximately 6,500 tokens there are, but that's a patently false statement. Barely, but the majority of those tokens are not trying to be private forms of money. So how do you reconcile that?
Well, I don't know your first name. I apologize, but I think that you raise a good point. I was using the term cryptocurrencies loosely. They're not all currencies, but I also think that each of these individual projects, if they want to compete as a form of money, that's unlikely. If they're competing as something else, if they're offering something to the public other than investment contract. I mean, Preet was saying that they're maybe not investment contracts. If they're investment contracts and they're a form of security, which I think there are many of them are, again, based on facts and circumstances, that would be different. But it's hard to say that they are, all not investment contracts and all not some form of trying to be some form of private money. And then you say, well, they're a commodity. But I'd ask back, how many forms of precious metal really compete as some form of long-term form of store of value?
I guess the answer to that is pretty straightforward, though. You'd have gold and then some other precious metals for different commodities. But I think that we all want you to succeed in pursuing this regulation of crypto, but some of those statements probably rip some credibility off you. So I'd ask you to sort of probably consider them more closely, because it's not like you say that like there's file storage systems such as Filecoin, which are decentralized AWS, let's say, and you're not saying that AWS or Amazon stock or Microsoft stock or Google stock are forms of money. I just think statements like that are probably ruffling feathers.
Well, I appreciate your comments, and I'll take them in the spirit.
So that was kind of the gist of that I wanted to share with you guys. And shout out to Decentralized Dan there. That was a great question. And it gave you a little bit of clarity it gave us all a little bit of clarity into more where Gensler's kind of coming at and his views on it. But there's a larger issue here, and I think this is where people are getting frustrated. And so just so you guys are aware, my background is in strategic communication, crisis communication, things of that nature. And I can tell you is that one of the things that is not being talked about is how people who, and just so you know, I do work with governments in this capacity. So one of the things that people who may not have that experience with government officials and working with them in this capacity understand is that when you enter into that realm as a figurehead, if you will, you have a lot of pressures coming from different directions, and you're no longer representing your own ideas and your own beliefs, right? You're representing the beliefs and ideas of a whole host of people. And because of that, you have to be extremely careful and tread very lightly and actually say things that you don't necessarily agree with. And you have to say it and you have to frame it in a way to which it's going to be reflective of all parties who are represented. So when Gary Ginsler first started, I remember how excited everyone was when he first got the role, because he kind of had a better understanding than most of cryptocurrency coming from that space of academia. And when he was there, he was talking about things like the blockchain and how crypto technologies could change things and revolutionize things over time. But he was doing it in the space of academia where there is more freedom and you can actually share your ideas without the risk of, not manipulating, but without the risk of actually affecting markets in the same way that he could now. So now that he's in this role, there are so many pressures of people who have these interests, with especially governments and the banks, part of who he is representing. And those are the types of things that I believe are coming down on him with those types of pressures. So if even though there are these different types of cryptocurrencies that are used for different things like voting and things of that nature, everyone on the other side is going to say, hey, people don't use these for voting. They're used as a form of money. They need to be monitored as securities. And it's important to understand that we have to continue to fight back, similar to Decentralized Dan, to get additional clarification and to hold people's feet to the fire. Because if you don't, this is what's going to continue to happen, is that they're going to continue to crack away at these ideals, and they're going to continue to kind of come up with these with what cryptocurrency is, even though it might not be a security, even though it might not fall under these guidelines, the same way that stocks and other things do. They're going to continue to push for crypto to fall under that same bound because they want to ultimately protect that dollar and protect these long-term institutions. So if you look at right now, this is a huge cryptocurrency. They all know that cryptocurrency is a huge threat to the institutions such as the banking system, where we put our money in the bank. The bank only has to keep a certain amount in there. They can actually replicate that dollar, send it out for loans. They can do a whole bunch of different things. They're making 25% interest from start to finish when you deposit to what they're getting out of your money. So to have something where you can actually hold your own money in your own custody and you can make your own interest off of your own money is an extreme threat to the system. And so that's kind of what a lot of people, such as Decentralized Dan, are fighting for, which I want to just say, like, kudos to you for this. It's a great share. I really enjoyed this, and I want to share with the community, but also myself and others. It's important for us to continue to understand this, and I want to just share that communication aspect of it, because this is what the future is going to hold, and you have to read between the lines and understand that these individuals who are talking on behalf of these larger institutions are the figurehead, right? So if Gary Gensler, let's say he's there till 2023, 2024, what do you think that he's going to do after he leaves? And that's where the big kind of answer is. I can tell you about in my experience, this is kind of how it flows, how it works, is that based on the role that you play at this institution is going to determine the outcome of your long-term viability within that same space. Just meaning that if you do the bidding, while you're in that position, you will have jobs lined up time and time again that are going to be better for yourself and for your family and for everything that you're kind of trying to build, if that's the route you want to go. If you want to go the route of protecting people and maybe the more egalitarian route or the more libertarian route where you're looking out for the smaller guy, good luck with making sure that you have those backups for those different institutions and those jobs lined up. There's a reason why when you have former presidents like, and I don't mean to get too political, but this is a great example of how these systems work. When you had somebody like, let's say, Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama, these larger kind of like personalities who are running for president, if you notice, they're doing speeches, right, to Goldman Sachs and the like for $250,000 for a speech. That's unheard of for the average person, but there's a reason why you're doing that speech. You can't say the reason why because that's illegal, but you can guarantee that if they're doing that speech for that money, there's something that's going to be in return. So if you look at different, and this is backed up through empirical evidence, right? When you look at the different people who do these speeches and then look at the people who are in the cabinets, they align with the people who donate to the campaign. So not to get too political, but this is kind of the deeper layers of how this kind of stuff works strategically. And this is why I kind of wanted to bring this up, because I think that this is kind of how we need to hold his feet to the fire and make sure that behind the scenes, even though he's getting that pressure behind the scenes, he's also getting pressure in the public as well in order to keep him honest. So I hope that wasn't too long-winded. I want to just share those thoughts with you guys. Again, Decentralized Dan, shout out to you for that awesome post. And yeah, I'll see you guys again here tomorrow with more news on crypto. And I hope you guys are enjoying this ride up as we look at these markets. Talk to you guys again here real soon.